Good morning everyone. So this is Agustin and I'm going to show you how to make your DIY compost bin. So the reason I came up with this idea is because I came home and I saw my mom using her kitchen waste. She would just put it in the garden. So if you see, we never put the kitchen waste into our garbage because it's waste, right? Why put that waste into the garbage? So we use the kitchen waste and we just put it out in our garden. But it does not look good, and I was thinking maybe there is a better, efficient way, right? And that's when I started researching of how to make a compost bin. So this is our own compost bin, which you can make at your home, like I made it in my home. And let's see what all it has. So it has two buckets, if you see. So this is the lid, and it has the bucket 1, which goes on top, and it has a bucket 2, which is at the bottom. And the way it works is you put your kitchen waste here, it gets decomposed in the first bucket, it gives out the decomposed water, and you use this tap to get the decomposed water out of it, and then you put it out in the garden. Okay, and the way we made it. So let's go and see how we made it. Now you can get these two buckets from any scrapyard for a very cheap price, or I was able to get this from our builder because they are building a new construction and they were able to give us these two buckets. So these two buckets, if you see, are paint buckets, and they just go to scrapyard, so why not just use it for making our compost bin. The first step is to make the bucket which goes at the bottom. Okay, now the reason I say that is it's difficult to make this tap hole and make sure it's leak proof. So to make this hole, what I did is I used the screwdriver, and you can use a candle, and then you carve out the hole using a heated screwdriver. And once you have made that hole, you fix the tap. And after fixing the tap, if you see, there is also a locker here, okay? And then you also do a leak test. Now the first time I did the leak test, I saw many drops coming out, okay? So then is when I got this one. So this is called as a Teflon tape, which goes into the grooves, okay? Now when I put the Teflon tape and I again attach the tap and again put the lock, I would still see like 3 to 4 drops of water in a minute. Now we don't even want that, right? The reason because once you make that water, it smells a lot and you cannot fix it later. Then is when I went for MC. Okay, so this has two clay type materials, like a black one and a gray one. You mix them really well, and then you put it becomes black in color, and then you put it inside the bucket, okay, around the tap. Now it takes like 30 minutes to get set, and you let it stay there for 24 hours, okay. It says that the recommended is 12 hours, but you make sure that it stays there for 24 hours. And after that, you do a leak test. So what do I mean by leak test? You pour water and you close the tap and you let it be there for 5 to 6 hours, and then you see if there's any leak. If there is no leak, okay, then is when you go to step 2. Now, or the second bucket. Now the reason I say that in this series is because let's say you do something wrong with this hole, you can always make this the upper bucket, and you can use this new bucket as the lower bucket and make a perfect hole for the tap. So this thing is done, and this is all it needs, a tap which does not leak. And then you go to, so we have the bucket which goes on the top, and if you see, there are holes here. This is for the air, and this one is for the decomposed water to seep into the lower bucket. So this just goes on top of it, so we stack it on top of it. And then we also have a net. And now the reason we have a net is this net, it goes at the bottom of the bucket at the top, because we do not want any small particles to get into the lower bucket. We only want water, decomposed water. So that's why we have a net. So once we put the net here at the bottom, and then we have a lid. So the lid goes on top of it. Now what all can you put in this compost bin? So you can put any kitchen waste, but avoid bones, coconut shells, and any meat. Okay, you can definitely put dry leaves, you can put coconut peel, because all that helps in decomposing. And once you even full it, you make it full and we put it, it's gonna decompose and you are going to get water. And then you take this water. Now this water, it smells as soon as you take it, but if you save it for 4 to 5 months, it won't have any smell. It will be lighter in color during the initial days, and after 4 to 5 months it will be dark in color. So thank you to my mom for recording this, and enjoy your own DIY compost bin.